It's another Q&A edition of Optimal Health Daily, episode 2004, and I'm Dr. Neil Malik. Hey there, happy Friday, and welcome to another special edition of Optimal Health Daily, where I answer your health questions related to fitness, diet and nutrition, and lots more. You send in the questions, and I answer them for you. Now, if you want to know more about me and my background and my credentials and why I call myself Dr. Neil, definitely check out the first Q&A episode of the month. That's where I go into more details about all of that. But for now, I'm going to spare you from that long intro so we can get right to today's question as we optimize your life. Today's question came via email. Chris writes, I sometimes wake up in the middle of the night needing to use the restroom. My problem is that when that happens, I often have trouble getting back to sleep. My mind starts to wander. I don't want to play music or sounds since it would wake up my wife. Do you have any suggestions on what I can do to calm my mind so I can get back to sleep? Thank you so much for taking the time to send in your question, Chris. I'm sure it doesn't help that when we talk about the importance of sleep, we always hear that it's important to get enough hours of uninterrupted sleep, in particular, most nights. I'm sure that reminding you of that isn't helping and may just lead to more stress, which in turn, of course, may make it harder to fall back asleep. But let's see if I can help. First, we do need to remind ourselves about how much uninterrupted sleep we should be getting. For adults, 7 to 9 hours most nights is considered the sweet spot. This is because the body needs that much time to go in and out of the phases of sleep so that you wake up feeling rested. Again, I said most nights. It can be difficult to get exactly 7 to 9 hours of uninterrupted sleep every single night. If we don't average this much sleep most nights, researchers have found that it may increase a person's risk for developing other health problems like weight gain, an immune system that doesn't work as well, a person's memory may not work as well, and so on. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about the stressful stuff and get back to answering your actual question, Chris. If you do wake up in the middle of the night and are trying to fall back asleep, there are some ways to go about this. 1. Since you mentioned your mind starts to race after you wake up, we want to try and get your mind and body to relax. One way to do this is to perform what's called progressive relaxation. This is where you tense, then relax your muscles. You start with your toes. So you flex your toes and hold them in that flexed position for 5 seconds. Then relax them. Take some deep breaths while you're doing this. Then we're going to move up to your calf muscles. You're going to flex your calves for 5 seconds, then relax. And again, remember, you're breathing throughout this. Then move up the body, flex your hamstrings and glutes, then relax. Then flex your quads and relax. So you're moving progressively from your toes all the way up to your forehead, flexing each major muscle group. And don't forget the back as well. 2, you could also try keeping some paper and a pen or pencil on your end table. When you find your mind starts to race, unburden it by writing down your thoughts. Don't worry about spelling and grammar. Just try to get the thoughts down on the page. Again, this will serve to relieve your mind of those thoughts, which may make it easier for you to fall asleep. 3, another way to unburden your mind, instead of trying to convince yourself that you have to fall asleep right away, tell yourself the opposite. Tell yourself you're going to try and stay awake for as long as possible. Again, what's happening here is it's taking the pressure off of your mind. It's allowing you to stop hyper-focusing on all of the sleep you're missing and focus on something else. And the trick is, it may actually put you to sleep. This one I can't take credit for. This was proposed by Viktor Frankl, a renowned psychologist. 4, this may or may not be an issue for you, but I'll suggest it anyway. Try not to exercise within 3 hours of going to bed. This is because exercise tends to activate the body and wake us up. 5, and something that's related to exercise, hydration. If we exercise soon before bed, we'll probably also rehydrate after that session, all the way up until bedtime. This may also cause us to wake up at night with that urge to go to the bathroom. So it may be a good idea to monitor your caffeine and alcohol intakes during the day, as well as your exercise patterns and hydration in general. We want to pay attention to caffeine, of course, because it acts as a stimulant, which means it wakes us up. and alcohol because it can interfere with our sleep cycles. Now, if all of these suggestions sound overwhelming, that's okay, I understand. Just start by trying one of the suggestions. It's probably best to start with the one that made you stop and say to yourself, that one didn't sound too bad. I haven't tried that before. I think I could do that. That's the one you'll start with, and you want to give it an honest try, meaning try it out for at least a week, if not longer, before giving up on it and moving on to the next one. If you find that after giving each an honest try and none of them work, you may want to consider seeking out the help of a health professional that specializes in treating insomnia. They'll often use what's called cognitive behavioral therapy to help treat it. And cognitive behavioral therapy may take weeks or months to actually work, but it's well worth the investment. In fact, I believe one of this show's amazing sponsors can help you locate a specialist like this in your area. ZocDoc.com. All right, the last thing I'll mention is that it may be worthwhile to talk with your healthcare provider just to make sure that your experiences of having to get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night isn't a sign of something else, like diabetes or a prostate issue. I really hope you find these suggestions helpful, Chris, and I hope that you get that full night of deep sleep very soon. And again, thank you for taking the time to send in your question, Chris. This is actually my favorite part of the show. I love reading and responding to your questions. Remember, you can email one directly to health@oldpodcast.com. Or if you want your voice played on the show, just come by oldpodcast.com/ask. Right on that page, you can record your question straight from your computer's microphone. It's really easy, and you can even play back your message, and if you don't like it, delete it and retake it before sending it in. Or you can do it the old-fashioned way and call in your question. The number is country code 161 I love OHD. Or if you don't have letters on your keypad, it's 1-614-568-3643. All right, that'll do it for another Q&A edition of Optimal Health Daily. Thank you so much for listening every day. Thank you for listening all the way through. I hope you have a wonderful start to your weekend, and I'll see you back here tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.